Sergeant at Arms can ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
So the prayer has been said and the chair taken. However, it's clear that the House does not have a substantive number of members inside for it to be able to commence its business. The Speaker has directed that the quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes. As we can see, just a few members are inside. I can see the recently sworn-in member, Honorable Consolata Nabuire, who made her way into the chamber much earlier. However, 2 more senators have walked in. We should be expecting more senators to make their way into the chambers. For the quorum to be deemed to have been raised, there needs to be 15 senators inside the House for the business to be able to commence. If that quorum is not raised at the lapse of the first 10-minute quorum bell, a second round of 10-minute quorum bell will be on. However, if that quorum is not raised at the lapse of the second quorum bell, then the House will be adjourned. Remember, this is a Wednesday morning, a sitting that is allocated for the Cabinet Secretaries to appear before the Senate chambers to respond to various concerns that were earlier on forwarded to the ministries regarding matters relating to either county, inter-county, national, regional, or international level. So this morning, 2 cabinet secretaries who had confirmed that they will be appearing, that is the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife, Rebecca Miano, as well as the Cabinet Secretary for Education, Julius Ogamba, are expected to appear before the chambers, but you will realize that the House has not corrected yet, so the Cabinet Secretaries cannot be ushered in because the House has to correct and the business to commence, or for them to be ushered into the chamber, take their positions, and of course, once the business of the day starts, then they will be able to take that stand at the podium to be able to respond to the questions that were forwarded to him. Remember, last week on Wednesday, at a day like this morning, the senators or cabinet secretaries that had been invited to appear before the Senate failed to show up. That is a matter that angered the senators, who said that the conduct of the cabinet secretaries not to appear before or not to honor the Senate invites is not one that should be praised. So what they said is that the cabinet secretaries need to honor those invites and appear on the days that had been allocated for them. But today, the cabinet secretaries, much as the cabinet secretaries have confirmed to be able to come, the House or the senators are not yet inside. So we should be hoping that they will be able to correct and enable the House commence that business of engaging the cabinet secretaries this morning, as is the business that is planned for this morning and as is on every Wednesday morning. The Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife, Rebecca Miano, once she appears before the House, she will be responding to concerns around the trends in tourist arrivals in the country, and she will be able to compare or give a comparison between the domestic and international visitors. The members of the Senate will be looking to understand the current status of the tourism sector in the country. Also, factors that have contributed to the recent decline in international tourist arrivals, particularly in contrast with the performance of other East African destinations. And also the Cabinet Secretary will be also required to specify the strategies the ministry is implementing to enhance Kenya's global tourism competitiveness, including steps taken to strengthen partnerships with international airlines, promote new tourism products, and leverage digital platforms for marketing. This is a question that the Cabinet Secretary will be responding and has been witnessed. Much as the prayer has been said and the chair taken, the House cannot commence its business owing to that quorum hitch. So the quorum bell is currently underway, and as you can see, a few members have also made their way into the chamber. We are looking at about 15 senators. The senator terms are keeping up with the numbers to check whether the House has corrected, and of course alert the clerk and the speaker for the House to be called to order and the business to commence. But until then, we shall continue to take a look at the questions that the Cabinet Secretaries who have confirmed their appearance before the Senate this morning will be responding to. The Cabinet Secretary for Education, Julius Ogamba, is expected to appear before the Senate this morning to respond to concerns around construction of the grade 9 classrooms countrywide and the progress that is being made specifically in Nairobi City County. This is a question that has been posed to the Cabinet Secretary by nominated Senator Karen Nyamu. Also, what other interventions that the ministry is considering to ensure that there are adequate learning spaces in schools countrywide, and also any state interventions the ministry is implementing to address the looming crisis caused by the 43.4 billion budget shortfall that is threatening free primary and secondary education, and the immediate measures being implemented to ensure the critical programs like funding for capitation and nationwide examinations proceed without disruptions. The question by the Honorable nominated Senator Karen Nyamu also will be requesting the Cabinet Secretary to respond to specific measures that the ministry has put in place to support students with disabilities. The Senator for Muranga, Honorable John Yutu, who has also already made his way into the chamber. We can see the Nairobi City County Senator, Honorable Edwin Sifuna, has also made his way into the chamber. But the question to the Cabinet Secretary for Education from the Senator for Muranga County is regarding the junior secondary school teachers being assigned subjects outside their areas of specialization, considering the impact that has, or rather that particular issue has had on instructional quality, content accuracy, and learners' preparedness for senior secondary pathways. Also, what measures the ministry has put in place to ensure clear role definition and manageable workloads for JSS teachers who are currently compelled to also teach in the primary section despite the already high demands at JSS level. In line with that particular question, the Cabinet Secretary will also be required to indicate how many practical learning facilities, such as science and ICT labs and workshops, have been constructed or equipped for JSS, and clarify how practical components are being delivered in schools lacking such infrastructure. The two whips from both the minority and the majority side at this point, as you have seen, they are needed to whip their members to get into the chamber. The first quorum bell has lapsed. We need to hear from the speaker to indicate to us.
Sergeant at Arms, ring the quorum bell for further 10 minutes.
So the quorum is yet to be attained, and the speaker has directed that a further 10-minute quorum bell be on. This is as provided for in the House Standing Order number 40, that if the quorum is not present once the prayer and the chair is taken, a 10-minute quorum bell shall be rung for the members who may be running late or within the precincts of Parliament, but yet to make their way into the chamber to do just that and join their colleagues and also enable the House raise that quorum. That is the leader of the minority party, Honorable Stewart Mazayo, who's also the senator for Kilifi County, has also made his way into the chamber. So that quorum bell will be on for 10 minutes. If at the lapse of it, the quorum will not have been raised, then the House may risk being adjourned. However, the Speaker, of course, will guide on the number that will be present at that particular time, so as to enable the House continue with the business that is lined up for consideration this morning. Remember, this morning, Wednesday morning, as is the tradition, Cabinet Secretaries appear before the Senate to respond to various concerns. Last Wednesday, the senators were up in arms over the failure by the Cabinet Secretary to show up, and that was not a good signal from the Cabinet Secretaries. And all right, allow me to hand you over.
Senator Boni and Senator Monegi, kindly take your seats. Clerk, you may proceed to call the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Order number 6, notices of motion.
The Senate Majority Leader.
I rise to give notice of motion number 1 on the order paper, that is the approval of Senator Consolata Nabwire wa Kuibabi to serve in the select committees of the Senate. That notwithstanding the resolution of the Senate made on 12th of February 2025 on the approval of senators to serve in various standing committees of the Senate, and pursuant to standing orders number 197, 199, and 222, following the nomination by the Senate Business Committee, the Senate approves the nomination of Senator Consolata Nabwire wa Kuibubi, MP, to serve in the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration, and the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Now, honorable senators, we do have 8 questions today. We have 2 CSs. We expect them to appear before plenary for purposes of responding to those 8 questions. 1 question is directed to the CS Tourism, and 7 questions are directed to the CS in charge of education. Now, I'm informed that the CS in charge of education is already in the building, and therefore we will start with the questions directed to the CS education, and we'll start with question number 87 by the Senator from Murang'a County, Senator Joe Nyutu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senator, let me first confirm if indeed we have the CS education in the House. Clerk, can you confirm that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Honorable CS, welcome back to the Senate plenary. You have 7 questions to respond to this morning. We'll start with question number 087 by the Honorable Senator for Murang'a County, Senator John Nyutu. Yes, Senator for Nairobi City County.
Perhaps, Speaker, you could guide whether we are also expecting the CS of Defense because she was scheduled to appear.
Indeed, the CS Defense was scheduled to appear today, but she indicated through a letter that she'll be engaged in a security meeting this morning. That letter was processed through the SBC. It was found valid, and therefore she was excused from attending today's session. But indeed, we had expected her to appear before us this morning. Yes.
Speaker, it is indeed very frustrating for me as a representative of the people, because now I think, save for going to her house, I don't know how else I'm going to reach the CS for Defense. We, as the leadership of Nairobi, all the 19 of us elected to Parliament, the Senator and the 18 colleagues from the National Assembly, wrote a letter to the CS regarding the ongoing recruitment process. This letter was dated the 16th of September, Honorable Speaker. It was delivered on the same day to the Ministry of Defense headquarters. Up to today, the ministry has not seen it fit at all, just as a matter of courtesy, to address the concerns that have been raised by members of Parliament who represent people. We have taken further steps. We have done press conferences. We have alerted this minister to the urgency of the matter because this recruitment is going on as we speak. Honorable Speaker, the central issue is just one. We in Nairobi feel we are being discriminated against. In all other counties, recruitment is happening at the sub-county level. Nairobi has 17 constituencies, Honorable Speaker. They have lumped recruitment into 3 centers. Just 3 centers. Considering, Honorable Speaker, the population of Nairobi and the biggest youth bulge is actually here in the city. The biggest problem of unemployment is here in the city. When an opportunity such as the recruitment into our defense forces arises, we feel that our young people in Nairobi should be given a fair chance. Now, if we have taken the courtesy, the steps to write to the minister, she doesn't have the courtesy to write back to the representatives of the people. We are not writing these letters for ourselves. Honorable Speaker, I don't have a child who's old enough to go to the defense forces. So I am not doing this or asking this, and indeed my colleagues, for any of our family members. It's for the people that we represent. Can the minister at least have the courtesy? Just that the way that she has written a letter saying she does not want to come to the Senate today, or she's not able to come to the Senate today, I believe she can be courteous enough to originate correspondence to respond to the representative of the people of Nairobi. So I was waiting for her this morning. And these are the frustrations we go through as representatives of the people. We write, you don't respond. We do press conferences, no response. I wait for you where the people send me to wait for you, you don't show up. Now, my only option is to find out where she lives, Honorable Speaker, and to go and wait for her at the gate. Now, what else am I supposed to do? Because it is very frustrating. So I hope, Honorable Speaker, in the letter that she has sent you, she has indicated when next will be available. Because honestly, and this is a live matter, this is a live matter. When will it ever be resolved? If she is not here today to give answers to the people of Nairobi, when will it be resolved? After the recruitment is done. It is very, very unfortunate, Honorable Speaker, and I hope that this House can record the disappointment of myself and the people of Nairobi that she has failed to show up this particular morning. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity.
Yes, Senator Boni.
Mr. Speaker, I must first apologize that I was summoned to another meeting in the middle of the SBC meeting, and therefore I didn't have an opportunity to raise this before the committee. Mr. Speaker, just like the Senate of Nairobi, I was truly waiting for the minister on the very important issue that opportunities for children to join the military are being sold for up to 300, 400,000. There's an old man in Kakamega by the name of Maurice Mate. Maurice Mate owns a bull worth 250,000. And he came to me and told me that, please, because I need 400,000, just give me the 400,000, my bull is worth 250, then you'll have helped me the difference. So I asked him, what is the problem? He said, I've been asked to go and buy a chance in the military. So we want the minister to clarify whether chances of going into the military are up for sale or it is on merit. And if it is on merit, what is that merit, Mr. Speaker? And finally, Mr. Speaker, children from upcountry who have spent all their time here in Nairobi, for all they care, some of them don't even speak their vernaculars. But their parents registered them in Bungoma, in Busia, to get ID cards. When they want to access recruitment here, they are told, go back to your home. And yet this child, the only thing that connects him to the so-called home is the ID. Why are these children being sent up country instead of being recruited from Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, where they were born, bred, went to school, and they become adult, they only went home to pick the ID card? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable. Honorable Senators, we have 8 questions to be responded to. Yes, Senator Abbas.
Madam Speaker, on the same note, I have asked for a statement from the Minister for Defense in June last year. Sorry, June this year, July this year. And I have received response on 25th July 2025, that was written by the Minister. And it has been appearing in the papers. I have been told this several times, it has been postponed. This morning, actually, I came to ask the same question, but it was not in the order paper. So I think there's a concern on the Minister for Defense to at least be able to appear in this House as planned, because this is the 3rd time now that this question is postponed. So I want to bring to attention on that, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Senators, for your concerns. Senator for Kilifi, you have something to say before I give direction on this matter?
Asante, Mstahiki Speaker. Mstahiki Speaker, pia mimi nataka kujiunga na wenzangu kuhusikana na ile mambo ya kuandikishaji kazi wa vijana ambao wako manyumbani wanatafuta kazi katika jeshi na pia vile vile polisi. Ni jambo la kusikitisha kuona ya kwamba kama Kilifi County imepangiwa kama pengine tutachukua watoto kama 300. Lakini tukiangalia katika orodha ile ya watu ambao wanachukuliwa kutoka Kilifi, utapata ya kwamba kama Magarini watachukua watoto 2, Malindi watachukua mtoto mmoja, kama ni Ganzo watachukua watoto 2, na Kilifi South watachukua mtoto mmoja. Sasa tunashindwa katika zile nambari ambazo wameziandika 10,000 ambazo watachukua watoto kwa kikazi, inachukuliwa namna gani? Ikiwa Kilifi katika total yote katika Kilifi County wanaweza kuchukua watoto kama 10 tu peke yake. Kwa hiyo tunaona kwamba kilio kama hichi ambacho kimekuja mbele ya Senate hivi sasa ni jambo la kusikitisha, kama waziri ambaye anahusikana na mambo ya kuchukua vijana ambao wanaenda katika kazi za jeshi ama polisi, ya kwamba anaweza kukosa kuja ndani ya bunge la Senate na kuweza kujibu maswali, hususan hata sisi tukiwa ndani ya Kilifi tuko na malalamishi mengi sana kuhusikana na vile vijana wanaandikwa kazi, na ilhali watu wa Kilifi wanakosa nafasi zao katika uandikishaji kazi ndani ya
Senator for Nairobi City County, you've said that the recruitment is ongoing. I thought it's supposed to happen between the 13th and 15th of October.
Let me just confirm the dates because the advertisement was put out. Speaker, the advertisement was put out on the 14th of September. We took that step that I've referred to write to her immediately on the next day, on the 15th of September, as leaders in Nairobi. And we have not been responded to, Honorable Speaker. It's almost 2 weeks now.
Now, in that letter, he had requested to appear on the 4th of November, which is way after the recruitment exercise. Now, with the concerns that have been raised, it will be more appropriate to engage the CS before the recruitment exercise. Now, the problem we'll find ourselves in is we are going to Busia on Monday. After Busia, we are going on recess until the 28th of October. So what I'll try to work with the Secretariat to see if we can have her in Busia, because that is the only opportunity we can engage her. So I will work with the Secretariat to see if we can have the CS appear when we sit in Busia for purposes of just handling the issues surrounding the recruitment. The other questions may be responded to when we're back after the recess. But this one cannot wait, because once we resume, the exercise will have already taken place, and therefore it will have been overtaken by events.
Speaker, thank you for that direction. I am just a bit skeptical because the defense headquarters are in Nairobi. If we are not able to secure our attendance in Nairobi, I don't know how much we can expect.
We'll put our best foot forward. Take
Very
it
well,
from me.
very well. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, thank you. So now let's proceed to hear the responses from the CS in charge of education. Senator Jonyo, to proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and allow me also to thank you for the very wise direction that you have given. Because, Mr. Speaker, it must be noted that we do not ask these questions just for the sake of it. And that the question that had been put by the Senator for Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, is very important, and especially the fact that it was not supposed to be overtaken by events. So I want to thank you for the ruling that you have just made. Mr. Speaker, having said that, these are my questions for the CS in charge of education. One, quality, content accuracy, and learners' preparedness for senior secondary pathways. B, what measures has the ministry put in place to ensure clear role definition and manageable workloads for JSS teachers who are currently compelled to also teach in the primary section despite the already high demands at JSS level? C, could the Cabinet Secretary also indicate how many practical learning facilities such as science and ICT labs and workshops have been constructed or equipped for JSS, and clarify how practical components are being delivered in schools lacking such infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, those are my questions.
Now, honorable senators, we will we'll have 20 minutes per question. So the question by Senator John Yutu started running at exactly 10. So at 10:20, we'll stop and move to the next question. Honorable CS, you may now proceed to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, honorable members. Thank you, Honorable Senator from Murang'a, for that question. In response to the first part of that question, Mr. Speaker, junior school curriculum came with new learning areas. However, most of these learning areas are related to the areas of specialization of the teachers currently deployed or posted to junior school. To address the gap on instructional quality and content, the government has undertaken the following measures. One, the government is retooling all the teachers engaged in junior school on pedagogy and content. All teachers in junior school have been retooled to fully equip them with the necessary pedagogical skills to handle the new learning areas in junior school curriculum. The retooling exercise covered pedagogy and content in all the learning areas. Number two, the government is adopting targeted recruitment and redeployment criteria. The government has adopted a targeted recruitment and deployment approach that accords priority to the needy areas of learning. In the latest recruitment exercise, deployment programs, teachers of science, mathematics, and technical subjects were given priority to bridge the shortage of teachers in the said learning areas. This has gradually addressed the shortage of teachers in the sciences, in the technical, mathematical, and languages in junior school. Part B of that question, the measures that the ministry has taken. Mr. Speaker, the government, through the Teacher Service Commission, has put in place the necessary administrative structures to ensure that teachers deployed to teach in junior school are allocated workloads based on their areas of specialization as well as the staffing norms of the junior school. All teachers deployed in junior school have well-defined job description outlining their teaching and co-curricular activities. Mr. Speaker, due to the reduction on the number of classes in primary schools, the staffing position in the primary section is optimal, and there are no cases of teachers in junior school being compelled to teach in the primary section. Part C of that question, Mr. Speaker, as I've already indicated, this is becoming an indication from the previous answers that I was given, because this was going to be the third or fourth question, but the government has constructed 23,000 classrooms and has taken all deliberate steps to increase infrastructure to create an enabling learning environment in our junior schools. This includes the construction of 23 classrooms that have been constructed in order to take care of grade 9. The goal is to ensure that as more resources become available, we progressively enhance the infrastructure in our junior schools in terms of science and ICT labs, as well as workshops. Currently, Mr. Speaker, junior schools that do not have purpose-built laboratories have dedicated rooms that have been equipped to support practical components of the learning areas. We have directed junior schools to utilize the infrastructure repair, maintenance, and improvement vote of their capitation to purpose build rooms that serve as laboratories for practical learning. This vote consists of 4,000 per learner per year. In terms of learning materials, Mr. Speaker, for practicals, the capitation per learner has 1,200 shillings for practical and 450 shillings for laboratory materials. These resources are intended to ensure that all schools have adequate facilities for practical lessons. As a ministry, Mr. Speaker, we are working to mobilize resources from the Exchequer and other partners to ensure that we achieve the optimal number of laboratories and workshops for even more seamless teaching and learning in our junior schools. I submit.
Senator John Newton, do you have any supplementary question? You may proceed, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, CS, for your responses. Honorable Speaker, there are 7 learning areas in junior school. And every secondary school teacher, because these are the teachers that are employed to teach or deployed to teach in junior secondary, is specialized in 2 learning areas. And most of the junior secondary schools will have at most 2 junior secondary school teachers. Exactly how do the 2 teachers, are they expected, especially now that we have 3 cohorts in junior secondary school, that is grades 7, 8, and 9, exactly how will 2 teachers in a school be able to handle 3 cohorts with the 7 learning areas? And lastly, Mr. Speaker, regarding the practical aspect of learning, ICT labs and science labs, the CS has given a good answer about an allocation made per student in order to facilitate these resources and actually labs. But Honorable Speaker, most of these allocated funds are never disbursed in full or at the right time to schools. So exactly where does that leave our learners with the technical aspect of their curriculum? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Mr. Speaker, that is why we said that the government has taken the retooling exercise of teachers in order to ensure that we have sufficient numbers trained in the areas of specialization in order to be able to handle those particular specific curriculum areas. So we have done that, and we've increased the employment of teachers in junior school. Out of the 76,000 teachers that were employed in the last 1 year, 62,000 of those teachers were allocated to junior school. We're also in the process of employing another 24,000 teachers to be able to reduce that gap. So we are working towards ensuring that we have optimal number in the junior school to cover those learning areas of our children. On the issue of ICT labs and the figures, what's happened is when we were doing the analysis to determine how many classrooms and instruments were required to ensure that we have sufficient classes for grade 9, out of the 23,000 classrooms that were done, some of them were on the basis of the labs and ICT rooms that were required. And that is part and parcel of the program that was done to ensure that we have adequate facilities, infrastructure, and instruments in those schools. Thank you.
Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with the tremendous respect to the CS and the learned friend, senior learned friend, C is very specific, Mr. Speaker, that how many practical learning facilities, meaning science labs and ICT labs, specifically across the country, Mr. Speaker. And having an ICT lab or having a practical laboratory means exactly having a laboratory with equipment, Mr. Speaker. So could the CS go into that detail Because as far as I know, in Makueni County, we don't have any, not even a single one. So I don't know where they have done them in the country. And what are the budgets, if he has any budgets? And if so, since they've been implementing this for years, when is he going to implement this? What are the statistics, Mr. Speaker? I thank you.
Senator Boni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to congratulate the minister. When I follow him, he's committed, and his pronouncements have remained professional. Mr. Speaker, whereas you have told us that you are going to recruit around 24,000 teachers, for which we are happy, given that Kakamega County alone, in my office, I have a list of 6,300 teachers hoping that I can help them to get employed. Can you confirm that it is not the ministry's policy that the only people who should benefit from the recruitment are children who are trained and qualified in science-related courses? If that is the case, as you have directed in the current recruitment, what is the fate of the others who are educated and trained by the government in non-science related courses? Are you telling them that their future has collapsed? Will they ever be employed? Or do you want them to be employed abroad, as the Minister for Labor has been cheating people that they can employ people abroad? These are very serious practical issues. And more so, Mr. Speaker, we have children who are now, in fact, not children,
Senator Boni, you've asked your question. Now you're giving a speech.
Allow me just press it a little bit so that the voters know that we are alive to their problems. Mr. Speaker, we have young adults aged 40, 41, 42, 43 years old. They have been waiting to be employed. And there is some rule in the ministry that once you are 45 and above, you cannot be employed. Where will these young people go?
Senator for Nairobi City County.
Honorable Speaker, in just the past 2 weeks, the Ministry of Education has actually conceded that when they were doing an audit of schools, out of the they had audited 12,000 schools out of the 17,500 and found that there were 50,000 ghost students. And in fact, the PS for Education, Bitok, was before the National Assembly, and he confirmed that the problem was most rampant in secondary schools. Now, the ministry sent money to these schools. They know the schools. They know the ghost students. Can the minister tell us today the names of those schools and the names of the persons who withdrew that money? Because by my math, if you are sending 16,000 shillings as capitation, then the country has lost almost 1 billion shillings in that financial year alone from these ghost students. So who are these people who are withdrawing this money?
Senator Mwanagataya.
Good, Honorable Speaker. I've been to quite a number of schools where I've found JSS classes mangled with primary schools. There's a lot of confusion in those primary schools where you find a graduate teacher, maybe is at the headship of a P1 teacher. I mean, there's a lot of confusion. What are you doing to make sure that you establish an independent JSS structure where we have an JSS which is just started on its own without necessarily having been put in a primary school?
Senator Catherine Muma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to ask a question. Welcome CS to the Senate. Honorable Speaker, my question to the CS is, would you kindly tell the Senate whether your ministry has been allocated adequate budget to ensure that no school in Kenya is unduly or disadvantaged for lack of resources and capitation. And if the budget you've been given is not adequate, what conversation are you having to ensure that you get this budget, because we have a responsibility to ensure that no child suffers, particularly in a discriminatory manner where some are assisted and others are not assisted.
Senator Fernandi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask the Cabinet Minister of Education, what is his position? Because most of these challenges stem on the running and effectiveness of junior secondary schools. What is the ministry's position on the independence and governance structure of managing junior secondary schools, noting that it is distinct between lower primary schools and upper primary schools? Could you clarify, Mr. Speaker, noting that the JSS have been on the streets demanding that they need to be managed independently? And Mr. Speaker, I want to inform the government chief whip that there is no one cheating anybody. Kasi Maju is a reality. I will take him to some classes after this session.
Senator Mbugua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. CS, a recent inspection of many schools across the country reveals that these labs and the learning facilities which are being put up do not have a universal design, and the majority of them are not accessible to the special needs teachers. What is the ministry doing to ensure that the special needs teachers who goes to the normal schools are catered for and they benefit from these facilities? Thank you.
Honorable CS, you may now proceed to respond.
So to Senator Manzo's question, the question is specific, and I did indicate that all our junior schools have either a purpose-built laboratory or a converted classroom for teaching practical components. Those that do not have purpose-built labs are being considered as resources become available. But so far, 20,926 of our junior schools have either purpose-built laboratories or classrooms converted into labs that can be used for practical lessons. Now, the recruitment of the 24,000 teachers is a recruitment that is targeted to ensure that we bridge the gap of the teachers that we do not have in junior school. And that gap shows that out of the requirements that we have, 60% of them are STEM required teachers. So the recruitment would be at least 60% of those